감사합니다. It's another Kata K-Talks with Therese. If you're new here and you don't know what K-Talks means, it literally means Korean Talks. So I have been doing this series for a very long time now. I've been making Korean Talks episodes where we talk about anything Korean, and in this video I'm really so excited to talk about our topic today because it has been one of my favorite things in Korea. Because guys, a little backstory, I started loving Korea because we went to Korea back in 2018. I was with my family then and we went to tourist spots and told myself that I will go back there and visit spots that tourists don't really go to. So I went back there, did my solo travel in different seasons, and I fell in love with the country more. I did not only fell in love with the country, I fell in love with their history, I fell in love with their entertainment industry, and guys, I fell in love with how people dresses up in every season. If you will go to Korea in every season, you would see how their fashion changes, and I really fell in love, and luckily I found a friend who will help me out in attending Seoul Fashion Week. So I got to attend Seoul Fashion Week pre-COVID days, so I went back and forth to Korea not only to travel but also to attend shows of Seoul Fashion Week. So when I started attending shows in Seoul Fashion Week, I got so interested with their fashion industry. That's why this episode is very much meaningful for me because I really love Korean fashion, and who doesn't, right? Because right now, globally, Korean fashion has been noticed and has been inspiring so much people. So Korean fashion has been globally recognized now, not only because of K-pop idols and K-dramas, but because Koreans really know how to present themselves, right? So I really love Korean fashion, and talking about Korean fashion, this term would really pop up. It's gonna be our main topic for today. It's the term Hanbok. And I know guys, you know what Hanbok means, but let's see the literal translation of Hanbok. The literal translation of Hanbok is Korean clothing. So, Hanbok is Korean traditional clothing which lasted for 1,600 years. So, guys, it's that old already, but it's still present in the modern days because people in Korea still use hanbok in their special occasions and holidays. So I think if you're Korean, you really have to have a hanbok with you because you're gonna wear it in holidays and special occasions. So I did some research about hanbok and I saw the definition of hanbok. It says here that hanbok is characterized by its wrap front top, long and high-waisted skirt, and it's typically vibrant colors. And what really interested me is that I didn't know that the colors of hanbok symbolizes something, because when you go to Korean hanbok rentals, you would just see different colors of hanbok and fall in love with the color combinations of some hanboks. And hanboks are made in many different colors, but guys, in the early days, the color of hanbok symbolizes your social position and marital status. So in the research that I did, I really researched about all this. In the research that I did, bright colors were generally worn by men, children, and girls, and muted hues were worn by middle-aged women. And the upper classes were a variety of colors. So I think those that we see in the hanbok rental places are for upper classes back then, because commoners back then were required to wear white only. And if there are special occasions, they could wear pale pink, light green, gray, and charcoal. The light tones, they could only wear the light tones. So if you have went to the hanbok rental places and rented your hanbok, you didn't know that the hanbok that you were wearing were for upperclassmen. So I got really interested with that. And I think from the early forms of hanbok, there's not much that changed about it. They really preserve how hanbok looked before to now that they are wearing it only in special occasions. So even though Korean fashion is constantly changing and Koreans are very experimental with their fashion, their Korean traditional clothes remains the same. The basic structure and the basic features of hanbok relatively remain the same until this day. So it's really so interesting how Koreans really upholded how their traditional costumes were before until now. And if you look through the different Korean designers who does hanbok, they don't really change the look of the hanbok. They just change the embroidery and the designs and put more little details in the hanbok, but the hanbok structure remained the same. So guys, that's a little fun fact from the researches I made, and now we're going to the exciting part of this video, guys. Since I've been making K-pop idol outfit recreations, I really wanted to do a K-pop outfit recreation where I wear hanbok outfits that K-pop idols wore. I really looked through many outfits from BTS because they've been wearing hanbok in many different stages. So I was supposed to buy this specific hanbok that Jungkook was wearing. I'm gonna put the picture here. I saw it in Shopee. I'm gonna put the Shopee link below. I was really ordering it, but I had to cancel my order before the shop confirmed it because it will take a long time because it's pre-order and it's coming from Korea, so I wouldn't be able to make this video if I waited for it. So I'm just gonna put the link down below if you want to purchase it. I'm still thinking if I will still get the pair and I would share my reviews about it because many people that bought this look of Jungkook said that the pieces are very nice and they really came from Korea. So let's see if I will buy the piece. And the second option that I was looking into is Blackpink. I looked through their hanbok pieces in the How You Like That music video, and I found this Shopee shop. I found this Shopee store where they are selling the exact same hanbok that the Blackpink members were wearing. But the thing is, guys, they didn't have my size. So I canceled my order because they didn't have my size. But if they have my size, I was really gonna order it. So I'm just gonna put the link down below if you want to order the How You Like That hanbok outfits of Blackpink. But I really was so sad when the seller messaged me and told me that my size was not available because I was really so excited to recreate the looks. But there, guys, because of all those happenings, we weren't able to recreate the looks of K-pop outfits, and I looked through many hanbok places, but all of them were in Manila, and currently I couldn't travel to Manila because of COVID-19. So I really didn't know if I should really do this video. But luckily, guys, I found this Korean fashion designer here in the Philippines, and we're quite near to each other, so I got to borrow some of her pieces, and I'm so happy with her collection because her collection is, I will show you one of the piece I fell in love with her collection. Her collection is a mix of Korean's hanbok and Philippines barot saya. So guys, when I saw this piece from her collection, I really wanted to know more about the collection, and I really wanted to see the pieces in person, and thankfully the designer was so kind to lend me her pieces. I'm gonna show you later. I'm just gonna show this first. I wanted to tell you more about the collection of this designer. It's from La Grace Official. La Grace Official's first collection is this, a fusion of hanbok and the Philippines barot saya, because the designer wanted to portray in her collection how she overcame and found balance in the two cultural identities that she had while growing up here in the Philippines. She's a Korean who grew up here in the Philippines, so I really love her inspiration with her collection. That's why I really pushed through everything and I forgot about being shy and messaged the designer, and thankfully I have the pieces now. I'm gonna try it later. I mixed it with some of my modern pieces, but the thing is, guys, the designer is very slim and I'm not so slim. I have big arms, so I couldn't put this in my arms. I don't want to ruin the piece, so I'm just gonna do it like this later. sweaty right now. I didn't know where to shoot. The weather is not that nice today, so I couldn't shoot properly, but there it is, guys. Here's the blazer. I really love the blazer. Look at the details. There. And then I just have this basic shirt, but I don't think that it goes well together. I just don't have anything else to pair with this one. And here is the wrap skirt and pants of the designer. I really love the wrap skirt look. I'm not sure if I tied it well. There, underneath this wrap skirt is a pants. And I love how the details of the pants look. It has a details at the bottom that would make it like puffy. And I think the pants of Hanbok are all like this. Yung puffy, yung ilalim. So, there. This is our look. I'm sorry for the mess. There. It's our look. I'm so happy with this one. I wish I could have this forever. There it is, guys. I really enjoyed wearing those clothes. I felt like I was walking in Korea and taking photos when I wore the pieces from Grace Official. I'm so thankful for the designer and with what she did in making a fusion of two different national traditional clothes. I went through the internet and searched how hanbok really influenced the modern fashion of Korea. Even though Korea's fashion is very experimental and the Korean fashion trends now are very different from the hanbok, there's still an influence from the hanbok from what we are seeing now. As we all know, Koreans are very experimental and bold with their fashion, but they still observe many different values and traditions. One of which is that they still remain conservative despite being experimental. They don't really like showing the upper part of the body of the women, and they don't really like showing their armpit. As you can see, most of the Koreans would wear 3/4, would wear long sleeves, and would wear anything with sleeves. And if they wear spaghetti straps, they always have cover-ups with them. And guys, Koreans really know how to layer their dresses, and I think this is my personal opinion. I think hanbok really influenced how they layer their clothes. They know how to layer their clothes well, because even back in the early times, people in Korea knows how to layer their clothes well, as seen in the hanbok of early times. So there also, guys, there are many wrap dresses, wrap blouses in Korea that has been famous for different seasons already, and I think it's kind of inspired with hanbok also. So I think hanbok really influences the modern day Korean fashion. And not only the modern day Korean fashion, guys. I don't know if you all know this, but during the 2015-2016 collection of a very famous brand, which is Chanel, they had a part of the collection that is inspired by hanbok, and I'm really loving it. I fell in love with it. I didn't know about this. I was just researching about hanbok and its influence in the modern fashion, and saw that Chanel got inspired with hanbok. So when I saw that, I was really so happy to see a designer here in the Philippines who is doing the same, who is incorporating something else in that traditional hanbok, which is this one. Look, I think the sleeves is inspired by the barot saya of the Philippines, and the cloth is from the hanbok. It's nice, diba? So, thank you so much, Grace Official, for lending me this. But there, I just wanted to show you guys how hanbok is very nice ever since it was made back then and up until now. It has been influencing many different fashion pieces and trends in Korea and also all over the world. Korean fashion is just insane right now. I think, guys, most of the people here in the Philippines, especially the newer generations, are dressing up like people in Korea. So there, thank you so much for watching this video. I talked about so much in this episode. I hope I didn't bore you guys, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button, and see you in our next Katok K-Talks with Therese. This is a video I made for Korea.net because this is our pre-mission as a K-influencer for the year 2021. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next videos I'm making with Korea.net. So bye-bye, guys. Katok K-Talks with Therese.